There's a harsh pill that most Red Dead fans, including myself, don't want to take. Red Dead Redemption 3 shouldn't come out. Now, before everyone starts attacking me, just remember that the game's aim is Red Dead Redemption. Both John and Arthur have completed their redemption arcs, both sacrificing their lives for the people they love most. Now, you might be wondering, can't we just do a different character or maybe a whole different plotline altogether? There are a lot of people still convinced that a Red Dead 3 can happen, and that's resulted in many wild ideas for the game. We're going to be taking a look at the most popular ones and deciding whether or not they would work. Starting off with the idea that we should be able to play as the gang's last remaining survivor, Jack Marston, as the main protagonist in RDR3. It would be a natural continuation of the story, and exploring Jack's journey would add depth and meaning to the entire Red Dead saga. Now, at face value, this seems like a good idea, but it just wouldn't work. The last time we see Jack is right around the time World War I is about to begin, so it would be more like COD World War I and less like Red Dead. But, Andro, this is a fictional universe, can't we just not have World War I happen? It still would not work. You see, the ending of Red Dead 1 has Jack kill Edgar Ross to avenge his father. But there's a key detail most people miss. We see Jack consider throwing away his gun into the river, but then change his mind, holstering his gun and walking away. That single action tells us everything. Despite his father's sacrifice, despite Arthur's efforts, Jack couldn't escape the cycle of violence. He too has become a victim of the Van der Linde gang. That is the tragedy of Red Dead 1. Giving Jack a redemption arc would destroy this. Okay, so what about the Blackwater Massacre? Could this be a potential plot idea for Red Dead 3? There are still many unanswered questions about what exactly happened during this massacre.
What really went down back there on that boat? We missed you. That's what happened. Oh my God, bro.
But making this the plotline of RDR3 just isn't a good idea. For one, if the game was just about the Blackwater Massacre, it would barely be an hour long. Then what, continue from the events of Blackwater? That would just be Red Dead 2 all over again. I also think the Blackwater Massacre shouldn't be shown. As much as I want to know what happened on that boat, when you reflect on these thoughts, it's like, man, there is this whole entire section of the game that I barely know of, and yet I'm so intrigued by it. It's because of the ambiguity. Now, another popular theory is the idea that we should play as Dutch van der Linde. It could take place before the events of RDR2 and show Dutch's rise to the legendary outlaw he is in RDR1 and 2. Now, I love this idea. Playing as young members of the Van der Linde gang and trying to figure out exactly how this gang formed is something I think every Red Dead fan wants to find out. But there's a problem with this idea. Dutch's character works because he's unpredictable and uncontrollable. Think about the tension in the scene where we're unsure whether Dutch will shoot this girl or let her go.
Have the girl, John.
Easy, Dutch.
She's a parting gift from me.
Or the shock we felt when he shot Micah out of nowhere in that scene. Giving players control over him would contradict his entire character. Also, we can pretty much rule out the idea of playing as any other character. If you put redemption in the title, you need a character seeking redemption. And we know from RDR1 that Dutch never even tried to seek redemption. I mean, this guy turned into a monster. Well then, what about Sadie Adler? Well, Sadie became a vengeful outlaw following the death of her husband, Jake. So maybe her story could be about finally coming to peace with the events of her past and just living a normal life. But the problem with that is it's just not enough content to justify another sequel to this game. I mean, Arthur's journey for redemption was so incredible, and I'm not sure if this plot even comes close to it. I also don't think Charles Smith would make a very compelling story because he was already one of the most morally righteous members of the gang. There is no redemption arc for him. So with all these theories thrown out the way, it might seem like there's no hope for another Red Dead Redemption. But here's the good news. Given RDR2's massive success, it's very likely Rockstar will continue the Red Dead series. It just won't have redemption slapped onto the title. And if it does, it won't be about the Van der Linde gang. In my opinion, we had two games about the dying West and how the age of cowboys was coming to an end. So I feel like the next game should be about the prime era of gunslingers, something a little bit more exciting. The RDR trilogy has one of the best plots I've ever seen in gaming history. So as much as we all desperately want more content, we should be careful not to ruin the story that came before. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.